springtime, oh my goodness, you're going to see, if you're out on the trails or down in the wetlands, you are going to see all kinds of birds because we're a migratory path. You're going to see deer, maybe. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you might see beaver or otter. Of course, the snakes will be coming out, the turtles. I mean, there's all kinds of things in the spring.
Welcome friends, entrepreneurs, and visionaries to Getting Neighborly, Fairview, Texas's very own gateway to opportunity, proudly presented by the Fairview Economic Development Corporation. I'm your host, Super Dave Quinn, here to navigate the journey through the heart of our thriving community. In each episode, we unlock the doors of Fairview, offering you a first-hand look at the vibrant life and booming business landscape that define our community. We're not just neighbors here, we're collaborators, innovators, and friends, building dreams and turning visions into reality. From insightful stories of local success to exploring the advantages that make Fairview an ideal community for your business. This podcast is your inside track to discovering why Fairview isn't just a place to do business. It's a place to grow, to belong, and to call home. So whether you're looking to start up, scale up, or simply soak up the spirit of community that champions entrepreneurial success, you found the right spot. Welcome to Getting Neighborly in Fairview, Texas. Let's make your business dream a community's success story.
Howdy friends, and welcome to another episode of Getting Neighborly, the show where we celebrate the people, places, and purpose-driven organizations that make Fairview feel like home. I'm your host, Super Dave Quinn, and today's guest is someone who knows the Heard Natural Science Museum and Wildlife Sanctuary like few ever could, because she literally grew up on the grounds. Meg Latham, the director of Stewardship, is part historian, part advocate, and 100% heart when it comes to keeping the spirit of Miss Bessie Heard alive. If you've ever walked the trails, explored the exhibits, or found peace in the sanctuary, today's episode will give you a whole new appreciation for the place that feels just as much Fairview as it does McKinney. All right, Meg, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, so I'm super excited. We get to do this. This is take two. Unfortunately, we had some audio trouble the first time, but, it'll be even better the second time, I'm sure, because it was a fascinating story before. So I'm ready to dive back into it. So for the folks, they've heard who you are and what you do, but why don't you tell us a little bit what it was like growing up at the Heard, right? Like we've all been to it, or hopefully if you've been, but what was it like actually growing up there?
Right. It was quite an adventure. And for me, it was an animal lover and nature lover's dream. I have two siblings and they loved it too, but you just, I guess, have to have that special connection, or whatever. So I loved it. I loved having the sanctuary as my backyard. I loved having all the animals that we got to help rehabilitate or take care of. So it was just my thing, and I loved it.
Well, I rushed into this. I was super excited to have you on here. I know what the Heard is. I just realized the audience might not know. So tell us a little bit about what is the Heard in your words, and tell a little bit about your mission and what it is that people can expect when they come to visit the Heard.
Yeah, sure. So the Heard is a natural science museum and a wildlife sanctuary. Sanctuary in the terms more of like a preserve.
Mm-hmm.
For animals, but also, for where plants and nature are undisturbed as much as possible. So the Heard Museum was established by Miss Bessie Heard. She was her family were longstanding members of McKinney, and she had a great interest in nature also, and wanted to pass on a piece of Collin County to future generations, and that she loved children. So she also wanted to make sure that the education and kids and families were a part of what she established.
Right.
So that's what the Heard, our mission is just to continue on Miss Bessie Heard's her vision and to educate people about nature, all aspects of nature. So that's
Right.
kind of it in a nutshell.
Okay. So can you remember, tell us a little bit about how you got to the herd, and we talked about you growing up there. How did that come to pass? How did you get to be raised hanging out at the herd?
Right. So my dad, Dr. Harold Laughlin, was the first director of the Heard Museum, hired by Miss Bessie Heard, and he was a teacher at Southeastern in Durant, Oklahoma, when he saw the advertisement for a director and starting this museum. So my dad and Miss Bessie Heard met, and they hit it off immediately. So he got the job and moved the family, of course, to McKinney. And it just so happened that there was a house right there on the Heard Sanctuary. It's no longer there. So we moved into the house, the whole entire family. So it was a family affair. And yeah, so my dad, when we moved there, the museum, the building wasn't even there. The trails were not even
Mhm.
developed. And so he oversaw um, the building of the museum, along with, of course, the board of directors and Miss Bessie Heard, but also the development of the trails and the programs. So that's how, yeah, I did.
Well, it's Collin County has changed so much from those days, right? You say McKinney nowadays, and a certain picture comes to mind, but it must have been so different. Can you? What's an early childhood memory of being on the herd, and what it was like before it was transformed into what it is today? But what is a memory that sticks out for you of moving down from Oklahoma into this country wild setting of Collin County? What was that like? What was a memory that you have for that?
Um, it certainly felt like, and it was like we were way out in the country, way out in the country. Um, friends that I went to school with, some of them did live out in farms and out in the country, but it was not like where you could ride your bike over to your friend's house or walk. So we were, there were houses around, and some farms. The McKinney Country Club, the old McKinney Country Club was there, but it was, you really felt like you were way out. But also it was just such a fascinating place to explore, and to just learn about lots of things, go fishing in the ponds. And yes, you could go without seeing anybody, until of course the museum opened.
Right.
So, for maybe a day or two. So,
Yeah, not something you can do anymore in Collin County. It's hard to
no,
find.
not at all. Not at all. No.
So you mentioned Miss Bess. It, tell us a little bit about who she was. I mean, it's obviously she cared for animals and the nature and preservation. Um, who was she? Why? How was she in this position to do that, and why did she pick this area?
Yes. So, her family, her dad and her uncle, established several businesses in McKinney,
Okay.
and which made their family, um I don't know if wealthy is the right word to use, but probably so, because Miss Bess was able to, as a young girl, she was able to travel to Paris, and she traveled quite a bit, not only as a young girl but as she became an adult. She never married. She did go to college. She was very intelligent, and she wanted to learn about all aspects of, art and music and, not just nature. She loved to collect things. I believe there's one article about her that says how she kind of had a museum out of her house for a while, to share all of her collections, and that was another reason she was like, I need a
I think somewhere
a
else.
a bigger building, for this. So, but yes, she, those things that her parents, set set up for her and her sisters, afforded them to be able to do some of these things. And then she was able to, in turn, purchase, the land and the sanctuary and have us, set aside a trust,
Right.
so that the museum can be built and continue. She had a vision. uh, I don't know what that, it's like really a true vision, but she somehow knew back in the 60s and the 70s that Collin County would be covered in concrete. And so that was another reason why she wanted to have the sanctuary, just because she just somehow had a feeling that
Yeah, and she wasn't wrong.
she was not wrong.
That's something that we often tell the folks that are looking at Fairview is, in this concrete jungle that has become Collin County. Not saying that's bad; it's just what it is.
Right.
We feel like we've carved out this nice little nature corner, and it's sort of unexpected. People find it, and they find themselves keep coming back to it over and over again. Of like they just can't, and they end up buying here. And so, I'm really glad that she did that. And although it's technically in McKinney, we claim you because it's literally across the street.
Absolutely.
We feel like it's an extension of Fairview, so we're glad you guys are there.
Yes.
Thinking about that, what do you think she would say about what it's become today? Because it's truly an amazing facility that you have and draws people from all over.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, oftentimes, I have asked myself that question. I was previously on the board at the Heard Museum for quite a few years, and a lot of times, when like maybe new events or programs coming along, and it's you try to think about if it is aligned with the mission. But I think in the most part, she was pretty much a progressive person. There might have been some things that she would have liked to have, seen stay the same. But I think she would have understood some of the, growing with the population,
Right.
growing with the needs of the community, the interest. So I think she would have. She's probably would certainly be shocked at the amount of of people and neighborhoods, but I think she would have adapted
Right.
and just to meet the needs of the community.
But it's also that community that makes it so valuable
Mm.
because they need it. They need that place to remember what it was like.
Mhm.
The house and the concrete they're seeing now.
Yeah.
It's a really nice place to come and say, this is what it was like before.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of an interesting thing.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about I know you moved and you were raised there, but tell us a little bit about your history and what'd you do, as you grew up. What's your history and how did you get back to the Herd, or have you always been here? Tell us a little bit about your backstory.
Right, right. Well, I've always been in Collin County since we moved to the Herd. Yes, growing up, it's like, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? And of course, biologists, scientists, like my dad, was a consideration. But my dad was a very good teacher also. And he was very patient with just the public in general, all ages. So I got involved in the teaching aspect at the Heard Museum and some of the summer camps and weekend classes and being an assistant, or teaching some of them. So I decided to become a teacher, and I taught second grade for 31 years in Allen, a couple of years in Van Alstyne. But anyway, yeah, just so stayed in the Collin County area, didn't always live in the Fairview, McKinney, Allen. My husband and I lived out on Lake Lavon for a while.
Okay.
At Clear Lake Park, but moved back home, so to speak. So,
Okay.
so yes, and then I retired and started volunteering at the herd, and then that turned into...
That's how it starts.
Yeah,
That's how they get you.
That's right. That's right. I mean, yes, and I was busier, being retired almost than working, but volunteered at the herd with the animals and the education department. And then some of those jobs, well, not those jobs in particular, but other jobs, opportunities came up, and now I am full-time. I was director of programs, and now I'm director of stewardship. So
Okay. What does that mean? What is director of stewardship? What is your role, and who do you connect with, or on a daily basis, what are you doing?
yes. So director of stewardship is in the development department, in our development department. And we, it is developing community relationships, um, educating, a little bit of education, um, or promoting the Herd Museum. Not so much in the advertising or marketing, but maybe just going to a few events for corporations, businesses. I've done a few of those where you just have a table and you hand out,
Right.
brochures and flyers and tell what we do and what we offer. And some of it is fundraising. And one of my parts is to uh, definitely follow up and thank all of our donors and funders and that kind of thing. So, but I enjoy doing that, and it does offer up an opportunity, if I feel like it's appropriate, to kind of tell my story and my history, and make a connection,
Yeah.
a personal connection with people. So.
Well,
I
it's a
enjoy
very
that.
important role, right? Because it doesn't happen without donors and people who care and invest. It started with obviously the initial funder, but now you have people that that want to and see the opportunity that they get by investing back into what you guys are doing, the mission. And so I think that's an important part of, especially of our neighborhood, the sustainability and nature and making sure that continues the education part for future generations.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that piece. Like what are some of the lessons that families or kids can learn when they come? Y'all do a tremendous amount of work with different schools and come through there. What's the lessons that you think people can learn from nature, and why is that so important?
Oh, where to start? Because we do a lot of different aspects at the herd, and our visitors and members can be involved in so many. But one of them is the preservation of the Blackland Prairie. That it's a very unique, but it's also an endangered ecosystem in the United States and in North America. And we happen to have a piece of that at the herd on the sanctuary, and are doing our best to preserve it. Um, so that is one thing. Another thing is just to help people have appreciation of nature and how nature can benefit us. Um, you know, the grasshoppers, or, you're thinking, I don't know how these, bugs or insects can benefit us. But given time, you just might learn, ways that they do. Or snakes. A lot of people are not fans of snakes. But then they learn, if they don't already know, they learn how beneficial snakes can be to us.
Right.
By taking out rodents, and other pests. Screech owls, they love roaches. So, nobody really
Right.
wants roaches around, but so there's lessons in the animal world. There are lessons in the environment and conservation. So that is a little piece of
Right. When you learn to exist in nature, not in spite of it, or I don't know if that's the right terminology, but there is a system in place when you say ecosystem, and all of these things work together in concert, and they're there for a reason. And when it gets out of balance, things go kind of wacky. And so I think that is something, teaching kids not to be afraid of nature, but to, again, understand that they're part of a larger system.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that gets missed. So I'm really glad you guys are doing that. For someone who's never visited, what do you think's one of the magic moments that happens at the herd? Do you have, is there a special place that you can kind of watch people when it clicks, either for the kids or the adults when they're
Right.
first time visitors?
Well, it depends on what season, I guess. For the little ones, when we have the dinosaur season, the animatronic dinosaurs, um, and adults too, but they, uh, that T-Rex that we have, he's very impressive.
There's something
So,
magical about seeing life-size
yes,
dinosaurs.
yes, yes. And T-Rex is really, he's, if you go the right direction, he's supposed to be at the end of the dino trail. And so, yeah, you save the biggest and best for the last. Um, I think if people, the trails, and again, it kind of depends on what season you're there. Springtime, oh my goodness, you're going to see, if you're out on the trails or down in the wetlands, you are going to see all kinds of birds because we're a migratory path. You're going to see deer, maybe. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you might see beaver or otter. Of course, the snakes will be coming out, the turtles. I mean, there's all kinds of things in the spring. But even in the winter, it might seem like kind of a dull time, but we'll have different types of or species of ducks that fly in and are on the water at the wetlands. So our big trees down in the bottomlands, the big bur oak. If you can make it on our primitive trail, which is pretty primitive right now, but it's magical too at the same time, down to the sycamore, the big giant sycamore tree. I mean, just some of those things, just will have a magic of its own.
Right.
So those are some good special places, I think.
Okay.
So.
There's something about getting out of our world, the hustle and bustle, and just spending a few minutes, even just a quick walk around on the trail system.
Mhm.
There's numerous studies now that are showing just the benefits and the long-lasting benefits after having been in nature, then coming back. I think there's
Mhm.
a real healthy, especially for the mental health, connection when you're able to get out and do that. And the primitive, it's a little challenging, but it's not that bad. It's
Mhm.
pretty good.
Yeah.
What does the community need to know? What are some of the challenges ahead for you guys? What are some of the things that you're needing help with to solve in the near future?
Well, development, of course, is one thing. When you were talking about earlier, how much Collin County has changed, and with the neighborhoods being built up. Um, I think it's just important for those who love the herd just to get the word out that the herd is there. That and they don't necessarily have to do anything except just spread the word. The
Right.
herd is there. Um, we many times are, I don't want to use the word fighting because I don't want to sound like it's that we're in any kind of fight, but I guess it's a challenge for us to keep the herd pristine because of flooding, pollution,
Right, sort of
maybe.
have outside sources or influences or circumstances that are sort of putting pressure on you.
Yes, and it's more and more, way more than what it used to be. So um just kind of more of an awareness of some of the struggles. um again, I'm not sure exactly what the public can do about it, but if they ever, they could either, I mean, sure, if, we won't turn down donations to help with those processes, but sometimes just word of mouth or being supportive,
Right.
of the herd out in the community, just to keep our name and our issues and problems out there,
Right.
in the forefront would be
Yeah. Well, I
fabulous.
think it's so it's more than just an entertainment place or a place to take your kids for the afternoon. I mean, it is that, and it serves that very well. But I think to your point, the public needs to understand its value and in sort of the larger picture of what we're talking about and the dangers of what happens if we don't pay attention to that, if we don't do green spaces, if we don't sort of live in nature and we just sort of bulldoze over it. There's some real downfalls that can happen or things that, and so being able to work with you guys and really understand that and buy into this is larger than just a place to take the kids for a couple hours on a Saturday or Sunday.
Yes,
I think that's really
yes.
good.
We do provide, research opportunities for higher education.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Tell us a little more
Yes,
about the
yes.
workforce education part that you do for that.
Right. So, I guess I can add add Braden, Duffy's, name to this. She's our sanctuary manager,
Okay.
and she does a lot of, scientific work with, several colleges around in the area, and, she helps those students with, I mean, they've done research on their or process of doing research on bees, on bats. Of course, we do the bird banding with the local Audubon Society. And we have the oldest bird banding station in Texas,
Oh,
United
wow.
States. Um, so a lot of that, we have FrogWatch, which, Braden oversees, but a lot of that is what's called citizen science. So we can report that, to a
Mm-hmm.
place like our findings,
Right.
and, so we can actually, the data
Be
can
useful.
be useful.
Yeah.
Yes, Brain will oversee that. She'll have some interns that'll in the summer sometimes that will help out with some of those projects. But yes, we it's again not just an entertainment place, and of course we have field trips. We are every day, getting requests are just coming in for field trips and for our outreach programs where we go out to a school or to some kind of community organization
Right.
for education. And of course, we have birthday parties, and so which always are fun. But again, there's going to be some kind of educational,
Sure.
aspect to it, to the birthday parties. So
Do
this is
y'all work with like companies and corporates? You mentioned, the corporate outreach, like team building activities or team like maybe a way to spend the day in the nature, right? Like get out of the office and go spend half a day. Is that something that you guys offer?
right. We do. We have corporate volunteer opportunities, because a lot of corporations do give back to the community. That they have programs, and so we can accommodate smaller groups.
Hmm.
It's easier. Um,
When you say smaller, what's the number of people that we're talking
Probably,
about?
I would say up to 15, maybe even 20 or 25,
Okay.
but I would say probably 10 to 15 is a good number.
Okay.
Um, and a lot of times sometimes they're just picking up trash, but we do have flooding. So we do have, trash that comes, down the creek. And so that needs to be picked up. Sometimes it might be clearing, a certain area if they really want to put some muscle to it. It might be scattering seeds to reseed an area.
Right.
So we do have some opportunities for corporate groups, and on the website, your contact person is actually me.
Nice. Okay.
And then I go to other department heads, and it's
So
like,
now you got some labor. You got to go figure out what department needs some labor.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Exactly.
And
So,
is there a cost for that, or is it just the time and effort and the logistics of setting it up?
we do ask for a small donation.
Okay.
It is on our website, and so
But we'll make sure
yeah,
to tag
yeah.
that in the show notes and everything, so they'll find you. And
yes, absolutely.
okay, what's something that most people don't realize about the herd?
Oh, that is a really good question. You know, again, I think it comes back to the land, because we are so surrounded on all sides. I don't think they realize how big we are.
Yeah, I didn't realize it.
Yes, 289 acres, and when you drive in, you're just going down this little driveway, and they do not realize once until they get out
Yeah.
onto the sanctuary, onto the trail, that they're like, this is our trail system, I believe, is 6.5 miles of
Okay.
trails. But there's so much more that we save, either for research or just to be untouched.
Right.
So I think it's the space.
So when are y'all open for the trails? When could people come out and interact with that? Is it every day? Is it what are your hours for accessing that?
Right. Typically, we're Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 5, Sunday, 1 to 5. Most of the time on Mondays, we're closed. Sometimes, like during the summer, we might be open on Mondays because we have camps that
Right.
run all week. Sometimes we might be open on a Monday because field trips are all booked up, so they have to come on a Monday. So I guess if you're interested in a Monday, it would be best to check the website or
Sure.
to call and to see. But typically, yes, Tuesday through Saturday,
Okay.
9 to 5, you're good, and Sunday 1 to 5. So.
And then sometimes y'all do, I know, like evening walks or it's like special events y'all have. I know you have some coming up where this is being filmed right now in September. You've just opened up the animatronics Dinosaur Live. Super excited to be partnering with you guys on that.
Yes, we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we're so excited. And but you also have like the Halloween event and then a Christmas event. Tell us a little bit about some of those special events and what they are, and how do I find out information about those?
Right, absolutely. So we will have, and I believe, but I would, I didn't come prepared for that on the dates, but I'm pretty sure it's October 17th and 18th for the
Okay.
Halloween at the Herd. I believe the 17th is just for an adult night out.
Okay.
We have found that, sometimes we do, of course, offer a lot of things for kids and for families.
Right.
But we have found that sometimes adults are like, hey,
we like to have fun
yes,
too.
we would love to. So I believe that the Friday night event is for adults, but our website will have, all those details and information. For the holidays at the Herd, I think it's running several nights. Once again, you can check our website. Pre-sale of tickets are always, always encouraged. In fact, on some of those big events, if you do not get in on the pre-sale, they're probably
y'all book out.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I was surprised to find that it is as popular as it is. I thought, I just didn't think that.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of surprising and pleasantly so that those are well attended. Y'all do a great job.
Yes.
And people love to come out and have a good time.
Yes, absolutely. Some of the other, like you were talking about a night hike, we are doing more and more of those and different types, different themed ones. I believe we just had one that was themed on bats. I know that I participate usually in the spring on an owl night hike. Sometimes it's just like called a full moon or, nothing really, not a theme, but just to get out and to see if you can hear. Most of the time you will hear an owl. I can't guarantee every time, but most of the time. And, you just get out and enjoy a quiet hike in the evening.
It's pretty dark, right? That's the other thing. I don't know that a lot of people here get to experience real darkness.
That's true.
Right?
That's
so
true.
One of the things we love about our dark sky ordinance and things is you come over and you can actually see a lot more of the world than especially at night. It's a different perspective.
Yes, absolutely.
A little spooky for some, but
yeah, that's right. That's right. I know I've heard even walking in the woods during the daytime, I have heard some students saying that they thought it was kind of spooky, and it's just because they've never been out in the woods before. They
Right.
lived in the city all the time, and they just didn't know how to take it. So
we don't realize it until you're out of it, but there's just a constant noise. Even here in Fairview, it's we're a little more country than a lot of places, but there's still just a lot of background noise. And so you get over into the herd and even though it's not really quiet, it's a different kind of noise.
Yeah.
And you're not used to it.
Yes.
And that is what makes the experience a little bit different, right? Like it's quiet, but it's not silent. I guess that's.
You still feel like you're like I did when growing up there, that you're way out in the country,
Right.
So, that's what's nice about it.
Well, Meg, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Thank you for giving us an introduction to the herd and a little bit of the backstory. Is there something you want to leave our audience with, something they can do or something you wish they would do? And obviously we'll put all the website. Go ahead and give me the website, I guess, just in case.
Yes. It's very easy. Herdmuseum.org is our website.
Okay. And make sure that you're the one. It's the herd in Texas, not the herd in Arizona, right?
Exactly. Because that does happen.
You don't want to buy tickets to Arizona and show up and wish you not have those, right? Well, we'll put the link in the show notes and all of that. Is there something you'd leave the listeners with that that they could do to really move the needle or help you guys here at the herd?
I'm trying to just like pick out one or two. Maybe becoming a member of the herd so that you get, sometimes there's newsletters that go out periodically or emails that, let you know. You can get discounts on things as a member or get first chance at tickets. But also, I think that on the social media aspect, I personally, and probably all my Facebook friends are like, oh boy, but just, sharing the content.
Sure.
Sharing the content.
You do. You guys have a great social feed. So, it's, again, y'all do a really good job of sort of giving people a feel for what it's like at the herd and on social media. So I really like that. Speaking of that, you said memberships. Super excited. We're going to be working with you guys on the plant sale and members. One of the benefits is you get early access to the plant sale, which is a huge sellout, I'm told. And the plants go fast. So being able to get there a day early is really meaningful. So we're excited about that partnership.
Yes.
And then also the live streams. I can't believe I didn't mention this, kind of tease it.
Yes.
But we are setting up 2 cameras to do a live feed from the herd. So if people can't come and be here in person, from wherever their office is, they can log in and maybe sit down and have lunch at the herd. And it's almost like you're in nature, and you'll be able to just sit and watch. And sometimes there's really cool stuff happens. Other times it's just a very peaceful existence, right?
Yes.
So we're excited to be able to provide that. Watch for those details. We'll put it out on our website at fairviewtexasedc.com. But obviously then we'll tell the story of what people are looking at, right? So they'll be able to get an education. But we hope that becomes a little piece of a slice of something nice in a person's day. They can log in and just get away from the crazy for a day, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes.
Right.
They can log in and check it out.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
So, well, we thank you, Meg, for being here again. I appreciate your time and effort and for being willing to do this twice, do over. Hopefully we got the audio this time and everybody will get to hear your story. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Well, friends, that was another walk through the wild side of Fairview, and what a beautiful trail it was. Big thanks to Meg Latham for sharing not just stories from the herd, but her lived history growing up on the land itself. Around here, the sanctuary isn't just a place you visit, it's a piece of who we are. That's from all of us today on Getting Neighborly Podcast. Remember, whether you're watching the sunrise over the prairie, listening to a bird song on a hidden trail, or just dreaming of a slower pace, you'll always have a place here in our community. As always, a big thank you to our friends at Venture X in Fairview, the premier co-working space right here in Collin County. If you're building something great and you need a space to grow, they've got you covered. Tell them Super Dave sent you. I'm Super Dave Quinn, reminding you that here in Fairview, Texas, we don't just protect nature, we grow up in it. Until next time, stay neighborly, stay curious, and make it a great day. And that's a wrap on another episode of Getting Neighborly from the heart of Fairview, Texas. This is your host, Super Dave Quinn, and I can't thank you enough for lending us your ears and hearts today. If our story stirred something in you, hit the subscribe button. More tales of innovation, spirit, and community await, showcasing why Fairview isn't just a place on the map, but a destination of dreams. Before you go, take a moment to share your love with a 5-star rating and review, because your support means the world to us and helps us spread the neighborly spirit far and wide, inviting others to join our close-knit community. Are you considering giving your business a fresh start or a grand expansion? Fairview, Texas is calling. With unbeatable resources, a supportive community, and endless opportunities, we're here to help you succeed. Dive into possibilities today at www.fairviewtexasedc.com, where your business dreams have a place to grow and flourish. From all of us here at Getting Neighborly Podcast and the Fairview Economic Development Corporation, thank you for your incredible support. Here's to more connections, more stories, and more success together. Until next time, stay inspired, stay driven, and above all, stay neighborly.